Have you ever stood in front of your bathroom mirror just staring at your own mouth and frantically practicing rolling your R's?
Oh my God, yes. Or standing in the shower, taking advantage of those great acoustics to passionately mimic a British TV star.
Right, just totally desperate to erase every single lingering trace of your native mother tongue.
We have all been there. I mean, it's such a universal experience for anyone learning a language.
It really is. But today we are doing a deep dive into why that relentless pursuit of the perfect accent is actually, well, ruining your ability to connect with people.
Exactly. It's this beautiful misunderstanding. We call it the native speaker
A
complex.
native speaker complex. I love that term.
Yeah, it's basically this collective delusion we have.
Mm.
We think that flawless execution equals social acceptance. But the mission today is to prove, using psychology, why striving for that flawlessness actually backfires.
Because our imperfect, messy humanity is actually our greatest social superpower. And honestly, trying to sound like a native speaker all the time is like trying to wear someone else's perfectly tailored suit.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Right. Like it might look fantastic on the mannequin, but when you put it on, you just end up walking funny. It doesn't fit you.
It really doesn't. And to understand why this happens, I think we need to zoom in on a really visual, everyday scenario. A situation where this pursuit of perfection results in just total, absolute disaster.
Okay. Yes. Let's paint the scene. I was reading this in the sources, and it's just so painfully relatable.
Yes.
So picture this. It's a sunny weekend afternoon. You stroll into this ultra-chic, Instagram-worthy downtown hipster cafe.
The kind with the exposed brick and the trailing plants everywhere?
Exactly. And you know exactly what you want. You are fully intending to order an oat milk latte with an extra shot. You want to show off your urban sophistication, right?
Feeling confident.
Right up until you step up to the counter.
Good
Because
friend.
standing there is this Hollywood-level, attractive, blonde, blue-eyed barista who just hits you with this breezy, totally authentic, "Hey there, what can I get for you today?"
And that is the trigger. That is the exact moment everything falls apart.
It really is.
Because in that split second, your brain does not simply process the task of ordering coffee. Instead, it boots up what psychologists would describe as this massive Hollywood disaster movie set right inside your head.
Oh my God, the brain's inner theater. We have to talk about the different departments screaming at each other because it is just absurd.
It is complete operational chaos. So first, you have the director. This represents your self-consciousness, your executive function.
Right.
And the director grabs a megaphone and is just screaming, "All units, attention! A native speaker has appeared. We must deploy our most flawless English. Do not let them think we are rookies."
Which is so funny, but then, kicking the door down, comes the grammar police.
Oh, the grammar police are the worst.
They are. They're frantically flipping through mental textbooks, just totally panicking. They're like, wait, do I say I want? Is I want too rude compared to I would like? Do we need to tack a please onto the end to soften the blow?
Meanwhile, the pronunciation SWAT team is rappelling from the ceiling to argue over phonetic mechanics.
The SWAT team.
Yeah, they're demanding that the oat vowel be perfectly rounded. They're debating whether the T in latte should be an American flap T or a crisp British T.
And the absolute terror over the extra shot of espresso.
Yes. The SWAT team is screaming, "For the love of God, do not say espresso with an X, or we will be the laughingstock of this entire cafe for the rest of the century."
And while all this is happening, the anxiety management department is just having a catastrophic meltdown because, there are only 2 seconds left. The people in line behind you are staring and they just hit the big red panic button.
So what's the result of all that internal screaming?
You go completely blank. You literally forget how to be a human being. You point at a picture on the menu, squeeze out this painful smile and whisper, this, one, yes, thank you, haha.
It's social death. And the clinical diagnosis for this is acute aphasia induced by pronunciation anxiety.
Wait, really? That's the actual term?
Yeah, you temporarily lose your ability to retrieve and produce language because you are so overloaded.
Okay, but I want to push back on that a little bit, or at least ask why. Because it feels like terrible stage fright, sure, but why does it happen even when we know the vocabulary perfectly?
What do you mean?
Well, oat milk latte is not complex syntax, it's 3 words. Why does the brain literally pull the plug on a task it 100% knows how to do?
That is a great question, and it really comes down to the strict limits of human working memory. Our cognitive bandwidth is not infinite.
Okay.
To understand the mechanism here, the sources provide this brilliant metaphor. I want you to imagine you are driving a car on a fast-moving highway.
All right, I'm driving.
Driving that car forward, keeping it in the correct lane that represents conveying your actual semantic message. Your only real goal is to transfer the concept of, I want a latte, from your brain to the barista's brain.
So as long as I just keep my eyes on the road, I get the coffee.
Facely. But suddenly you become obsessively self-conscious about how you look to the other drivers.
Oh, no.
So you pull down the rear view mirror. And while you are hurtling down the highway at 60 miles an hour, you start staring intensely into that mirror, frantically using a can of hairspray to fix one single microscopic stray hair.
Which is terrifying because you are totally blind to the road.
Exactly. And staring into that rearview mirror represents harsh self-monitoring. You are acting as your own pronunciation police.
So all my attention is on the hair, not the road.
Right.
Yeah.
Naturally, your brain's energy wants to go to semantic logic and emotional connection. But when you start rehearsing vowel positions and consonant airflow before you speak, your processor hits 100%.
Wow.
The brain areas for retrieving vocabulary and organizing sentences are literally forced to shut down entirely because the cognitive load is too high.
So the inevitable result of looking in the mirror is, bang, you crash the car.
You crash straight into a tree.
That makes so much sense. So the tree we crash into isn't the barista's lack of understanding. It's the tree of perfectionism we planted ourselves right in the middle of the road.
That is exactly what it is. We sabotage ourselves.
But if this pursuit of perfection literally breaks our brains and causes this mental car crash, why are we so convinced that being perfect is what makes people like us?
Well, that's the grand illusion of the uncanny valley. We assume perfect machines are better than imperfect humans. But let's look at external perception.
Okay, let's contrast them.
Think about the last time you had to call your bank's customer service, and you got that flawless BBC standard AI voice.
I hate those. Even the really advanced ones.
Right. Why do you hate it? It has zero accent, perfect grammar, a completely flat, even tone.
Because it's creepy. It triggers that uncanny valley feeling. It feels like it has no soul.
Exactly. Because it lacks the tiny natural flaws of human thought. The little breaths, the slight hesitations. Your brain screams that it's a machine, which creates this cold, sterile distance.
Yeah, you just want to mash the zero button to speak to a real human, any human.
Now, compare that AI to a passionate human. Imagine a friend of yours who speaks English as a second language. They have a noticeable hometown accent. They mess up their grammar sometimes. But they are talking to you with sparkling eyes, their hands are flying around, and they're just immensely passionate about a movie they just saw.
Oh, I'm totally captivated in that scenario. I don't care at all about the grammar. I'm just hooked on their energy.
And you don't hate their accent. You probably find it endearing. You are drawn to their vitality.
That's so true. Is there data to back that up? Because it feels very intuitive.
There is. The sources highlight this fascinating 2024 interspeech research by Weselick and colleagues.
What did they find?
They looked at how people evaluate non-native accents. And they found that a noticeable accent might slightly lower a listener's initial evaluation of competence, like technical mastery.
Oh, okay, that's expected.
But here's the crazy part. It significantly boosts the speaker's perceived warmth and approachability.
Wait, really? It actually boosts warmth?
Yes, because the listener's brain automatically works to fill in the phonetic gaps as long as the underlying logic is clear. It creates a shared cognitive effort.
That is mind-blowing. But okay, I have to ask. That makes total sense for AI or for casual chats with friends.
Sure.
But what about human-to-human in a high-stakes environment? If someone actually does manage to achieve absolute zero-accent textbook perfection in, say, a boardroom, wouldn't we admire them?
You would think so. But absolute perfection is actually incredibly alienating.
How so?
To answer that, we have to talk about Elliot Aronson's 1966 Pratfall Effect.
The Pratfall Effect. I love this study.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
So Aronson wanted to see how people react to flawless individuals versus people who make mistakes.
Right.
So he played audio recordings for groups of people. The setup was an audition for a highly competitive collegiate quiz bowl team.
So extremely high stakes, very intellectual.
Exactly. Now, Tape Hay featured this absolutely flawless candidate. They answered like 92% of the impossibly hard questions correctly. They were an honor student, a track star, just perfect.
The person everyone secretly hates.
Right, because they feel too good to be true. If someone is actually flawless, they exert immense pressure on everyone around them. They lower the self-esteem of others through social comparison.
Because perfection is a high wall. It keeps people out.
Exactly. So then Aronson plays Tape B. Tape B is the exact same recording of that brilliant, flawless candidate. But at the very end of the interview, the listeners hear a loud clatter.
The pratfall.
Yes. The candidate groans and says, "Oh my goodness, I've just spilled coffee all over my new suit."
A completely clumsy, deeply human moment.
A tiny mistake.
Yeah.
And when Aronson asked the listeners to rate how much they liked the candidates,
Yeah.
they overwhelmingly preferred the brilliant candidate who spilled the coffee.
Which is wild. You'd think the flawless one would win.
Nope. Because the charm of clumsiness instantly pulls that untouchable person off their pedestal.
It grounds them.
Yes, they become a safe, authentic, flesh and blood, regular person. That is the Pratfall Effect.
Okay, so how does this tie back into the native speaker complex and accents?
Well, think about it. An accent, or a small grammatical stumble, is essentially the ultimate charming pratfall effect in conversation.
Oh, wow. I never thought about it like that.
It acts as a subconscious signal to the listener. It says, I am vulnerable, I make mistakes, but I am trying incredibly hard to cross this language barrier just to connect with you.
That is so powerful. It really changes the whole dynamic. It's almost like, oh, it's like playing a co-op board game.
A co-op board game, I like that. Unpack
Wow.
that.
Well, when you walk in and try to be totally flawless, you force the listener to be a judge, right? They're just sitting there evaluating you.
Yes, waiting for you to mess up.
But when you're vulnerable and clumsy and you just own your accent, the listener stops being a judge. They become a collaborator. They team up with you to piece the meaning together.
Exactly. The bond is actually built by the struggle.
The struggle becomes the connection.
You are inviting them in. You are saying, help me build this bridge. And human beings love to help build bridges. We are wired for empathy, not for processing sterile data.
Which is such a comforting thought. It just takes all the pressure off.
It really does.
Yeah.
You don't have to be perfect to be loved. In fact, being imperfect makes you more lovable.
Okay, so as we start to wrap up this deep dive, I think the takeaway here is incredibly actionable for you, the listener.
Absolutely.
The next time you are standing in line for that oat milk latte, or you're about to hop on a Zoom call in your second language, we want you to give the pronunciation police in your head a permanent day off.
Fire them. Just let them go. They're ruining your bandwidth.
Stop staring in the rearview mirror to fix that one stray hair. Bravely step on the gas pedal and actually enjoy the scenery of the conversation.
Yes. To hell with the perfect rolled R's from TV shows. Seriously.
Leave the shower performances in the shower.
Because you have to remember that the imperfect human who misspeaks, who laughs out loud at their own mistakes, who carries their hometown accent proudly.
The person with the sparkling eyes?
Yes, that person is 1,000 times more captivating than a flawless robotic machine could ever be.
Authenticity always wins over perfection.
Every single time.
So I want to leave you with a final lingering thought to mull over today, something that wasn't in our main discussion, but really builds on all this.
Let's hear it.
Think about what your accent actually is. If our accents are basically these beautiful acoustic maps of everywhere we've ever lived and everyone we've ever loved, why are we trying so desperately to erase our own history just to sound like a stranger?
Oh, that is profound. Why erase your history?
Exactly. Don't erase it, share it. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. We will catch you next time.